I didn't think a new job could make the past feel heavier, but apparently it could. My name is Derek. I'm 38, and I've been through the kind of breakup most people don't talk about openly. Not the messy kind with shouting and drama, but the quiet, gnawing kind that makes you question everything you thought was real. Clara and I were together for 7 years. Not married, but close enough that people assumed it. Close enough that I thought the word forever applied to us naturally, like it was written in invisible ink on our lives. When we ended things, it wasn't explosive. There were no raised voices, no slamming doors, no dramatic confessions in the middle of a restaurant. It was more like watching a slow leak in a tire, small, barely noticeable at first, until suddenly you're stranded and everything is flat. Clara drifted first. She stopped returning texts promptly. She canceled plans more often than she kept them. Little excuses at first. Work stress, family emergencies. But gradually, it became a habit and then a pattern. And I didn't notice how much I was letting go until the day she finally said, almost casually, "I think we're done, Derek. I just feel like we're on different paths." I nodded. I said something I barely remember, something like, "Okay, I understand." And I meant it, even though my chest felt heavy, like the air itself had grown thicker. I moved out a few weeks later. I tried to accept it, to not overthink. I focused on my own life, my career, friends, and the quiet evenings in my small apartment. That was before she walked back into my world in a place I never expected, her new job. I wasn't looking for her, not at all. I had no reason to be. I had a project at the company where she'd just started. I didn't know she'd joined until she showed up in the lobby that Monday morning. And then I saw her, Clara, smiling at someone, wearing a blazer that made her look effortless, powerful, like she had stepped out of a magazine. Her hair was shorter, more sophisticated, and her laugh, the one I had loved and memorized, was still the same. I didn't walk over immediately. I didn't want to. I needed a second to breathe and remind myself that this was reality, not memory. She spotted me before I could decide what to do. Her eyes lit up. "Derek," she said, in that bright, too easy way she always had. "You're here for the Johnson account too?" She sounded friendly, casual, like we were colleagues, not people who had spent years intertwined in each other's lives. My stomach twisted. I nodded, keeping my tone neutral. "Yeah, looks like it." Then she did it. The thing that made my blood run cold, not because it was cruel, but because it was so deliberately harmless sounding. She said, smiling, "By the way, everyone here thinks you're my roommate. Just so you know." Her roommate. The words sounded like a knife in my mind. After everything, after 7 years, I was not a roommate. I didn't even flinch outwardly. I smiled back, the calm, measured smile I had been practicing in front of mirrors for weeks. But inside, a storm had begun. That evening, I thought about what I wanted to do. I replayed her words over and over. Roommate, just like that. So I decided, if she could reduce our years together to a casual arrangement, I could reduce her to the title that would sting without being cruel. Ex-wife. Not publicly shouting it. Not on social media. Not with revenge in my voice. Just in front of her colleagues, where it would matter without being over the top. Next morning, the office was bustling. I walked into the meeting room, coffee in hand, and she was already there, chatting with a few team members about onboarding procedures. I smiled politely and said, as casually as I could manage, "Everyone, meet my ex-wife, Clara. She's joining our project team this week." Time slowed. Her smile faltered for just a fraction of a second, the kind of pause that speaks louder than any words. I could see the recognition, the surprise, the sudden shift in her expression as the weight of that title settled in the room. Not because it was offensive, not because it was a lie, but because it was the truth she had denied. The room's air changed subtly. People looked between us, curious, whispering quietly. She laughed nervously, but it wasn't the same confident, unbothered Clara I remembered. It was thin, rehearsed. She didn't correct me. She didn't deny it. I didn't raise my voice or make a spectacle. I just let the words hang there, letting reality speak for itself. After the meeting, she caught up with me in the hallway. Her tone was light, but there was a tremor in it I couldn't ignore. "Derek, really, do we have to do that here?" she asked. I looked at her, calm, deliberate, and said, "Why not? You call me your roommate. I just corrected the record.